So I'm Daniel Mines. I'm a leadership consultant and coach with the Alexander Partnership. I'm originally German, but now based in London in the UK. My coaching is one-to-one coaching, in particular with high potentials, and that goes from kind of American big tech to smaller startups. So my background is psychodynamic coaching. That's my studies, bachelor's, master's. I'm doing a PhD in that kind of world now. So psychodynamic coaching comes from the psychoanalytic school of thought. The difference is that basically if you did psychoanalytic coaching, you do like 50 minutes every day in a kind of very Freudian sense on a couch and all of that. And psychodynamics is kind of taking the core tenets and principles and trying to apply that in a coaching space. So you look a lot at the unconscious. You look a lot at patterns of thought and behavior, and how they play out. You look a lot at patterns in relationships, in particular. Applying psychology to any space in the professional world. I feel there's a lot of talking and thinking about positive psychology. There's a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy approaches. And I think they're really valuable and they're really interesting. But what seems a little bit undervalued is the kind of source of psychology in the old school psychoanalytic thinking of what's going on with the unconscious. What are the dynamics that we're not immediately obviously seeing? And that's where I think psychodynamics has a lot to say. And systems psychodynamics, the kind of Tavistock tradition, also just gives you a lot of new ways of looking at the same situation. So I noticed in my own coach training that if you look at coaching handbooks, in particular when they start talking about psychodynamic coaching, they'll often reference Winnicott's holding environment. That is basically an idea that comes from how the mother holds her child. It's like 50s, 60s thinking of a psychoanalyst and pediatrician. And he noticed that the holding of the child made the child feel safe. And he then made that physical holding into the emotional holding. And again, that was about mother and child. He then noticed that actually what he was doing in his therapy was he was holding people. And he was creating a holding environment in a kind of psychological sense. When I looked at my own coaching training, I saw it referenced a lot. But what I didn't see was an appreciation for the difference between the coaching context and the therapeutic context. So, like flippantly said, there's like the handbook will tell you, well, just do a holding environment, it'll be fine. And I thought, well, I'm not sure it works like that. I think it's a different context. That's what I'm trying to explore. There is real value in taking these moments of taking the foot off the gas, if you will, and to think together with somebody that can react to your thinking and may spark your thinking or may pull, may push. I think there is something in this diet that's really interesting and always almost risky, in the sense that you never quite know where it's going to go. Like, you can't plan a coaching session. You can plan for it. You can try and prepare for it, but what happens in the room is always different. When a coaching session works particularly well, it reminds me of two people wandering through kind of some sunny, hilly, green, lush environment and just looking around, noticing what's there and just talking. And as you talk, things emerge. That kind of image, when a session goes well, I feel that's what it feels like. It's very intellectually and emotionally stimulating because it's kind of a very human endeavor to do this wandering together. The main thing the IOC has changed is it's a space that provides you pretty constantly with great new ideas, and it's something that's very additive to my coaching practice. Very often I find myself watching a Coachex or watching a webinar, reading some of the research doses, and it really enriches how I'm able to work with clients, because it just gives me that one new idea, or it informs that one new question. It's opened my eyes in some areas that I just wasn't aware of before. And it's given me depth in areas that I may have been aware of, but I didn't kind of go there often enough. And the IOC has opened that door much wider for me.